Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name's Farah Halabi and I'm a professional Muslimah life coach, and tonight I'd like to talk to you about the masks that we wear and the facades or the personas that we portray, that we show to the world. And social media is full of it, isn't it? You know, no one puts their worst life on social media. People put their best lives or a certain, I don't want to say facade, but a certain persona, a certain, sometimes it's an illusion, but a certain way of how they want to be seen as. And usually it's in a very positive manner. It's, you know, they want people to think that they are, you know, living their best life, that they are, you know, doing their thing, that they are loving life, that, you know, things are going swimmingly. And a lot of effort goes into the facade, the illusion, the mask. A lot of effort goes into portraying this best life. And on social media, it's quite easy, isn't it? There are filters, there are, and I've used them myself, usually to cover, you know, no one wants to see this all the time, but usually if the lighting's not great. But that's as far as it goes in terms of tweaking it. But it's not, you know, putting forward an untrue or a fake persona. And in social media or on social media, it's quite easy to do that. In life, on a day-to-day level, it's a bit harder and it takes a bit more work to portray a certain persona, character, you know, wearing a certain mask to cover what's really going on, but all the while wanting everyone around you to see that you are either doing okay, you're living your best life, you're, you know, fabulously happy, you've got, you know, quote unquote, the perfect relationship, perfect home, perfect children. And like I say, a lot of work goes into that facade. Something came up in a conversation that I had today where the mask was slipping. And for one of my clients, it was a lot more difficult to keep that facade going. And for her, it wasn't about showing to the world that she was living her best life. It was showing the world portraying a character that was, you know, that was coping, that was content, that was, you know, seemingly fine. You know, she's got kids, lovely home, husband, great job. And, you know, on paper, you'd think she's got a lovely life. And for her, it was almost, if she was to really put out the persona, or really put out, not the persona, but the reality of how she felt, there was this sense of guilt that she even felt the way that she did, because on paper she should, you know, her life looks perfect. Her life looks lovely. Like I say, she's got a lovely home. She's got, you know, wonderful children, a lovely husband, family all around her. And for her to put out the feeling that she's not happy was almost like she couldn't do it. She couldn't go out. She couldn't do it because it was almost like she was ungrateful for what she has. And that feeling of, you know, not wanting to seem ungrateful, and so having to carry on regardless, was taking a real toll on her physical health, on her mental health, and actually on her spiritual health as well. Because all of the energy that it took to keep this mask up, to keep this persona going, to keep the illusion going, there was very little energy for actually being in her life. She was covering, she was acting, she was, you know, trying to ignore what was going on inside by, you know, playing this role. And the consequence of that was she couldn't. The mask was slipping. Her physical health was being affected. Her mental health was definitely being affected. And the way in which she connected with Allah, you know, she wasn't able to pray with any kind of khushu'. She wasn't able to, you know, do the acts of ibadah conscientiously. It was on rote. It was like autopilot. It was robotic. And the more and more she tried hard to play this part, the more and more effort that she was, it was taking, it just wasn't working. And so when we spoke about that energy that it took, and if she diverted that energy, that focus, that determination, even into actually looking at what the problems were and attending to them, working it out, making it better, fixing the issues, overcoming the challenges. But for her, she'd not been on, making things better. Because she felt guilty. She felt guilty that she was feeling bad in the first place. She felt as if, she shouldn't be feeling bad, that that she's ungrateful, that there was something wrong with her, that, like I say, on paper, she had a lovely life. So when we really looked at what was going on for her, there were these erroneous beliefs, these thoughts percolating that were, that propelled this behaviour of trying to mask, trying to hide, trying to play this persona. And the pressure that was released when that focus and energy is now being filtered and funneled, if you like, into actually dealing with what's going on behind it. What was propelling her to, to live this I don't want to say fake life, but this false narrative of her life. And subhanAllah, that just seeing her take a visible sigh of release of that pressure, there was something quite visceral that was different. There was something physical that changed in her. And it got me to thinking, in our daily lives, how much energy do we spend going through the motions or making it look as if we're living our best life or, we're okay? Because it's okay not to be okay. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be okay forever. It will pass. But almost the fear of feeling not okay brings up lots of other habitual weirdness. And by weirdness, I'm not demeaning that. I mean, just things that we feel that we can't take or we can't manage or we can't cope or we shouldn't be feeling. And if you've watched any of my videos or worked with me at all, you'll know that, if you're trying hard not to feel something, and that's the focus, I don't want to feel sad, I don't want to feel angry, I don't want to be thinking about XYZ. The fact that that is your framework of what you don't want to be doing or don't want to be thinking about is the very thing that you are going to be thinking about. Like if I said to you now, if I give you £1 million for you to not think about a red bus for 2 minutes, first thing you're going to think about is a red bus. So in this message, I would like to ask you, if you funneled and focused your energy on an awareness of how you are feeling and a proper framework to really focus that level of conscientious awareness and knowledge that, things maybe aren't going as well as you'd like. But instead of deflecting or directing your energies on covering it up, actually dealing with it, actually going to the root of what is causing it and overcoming that. And then from that place, actually living the life that you are trying to, portray, not having to fake it, actually living life in a way that you want, actually creating the life that you want, to live a life you love. Then what would that mean for you? What would it mean for you? Because for the lady that I worked with today, subhanAllah, there was, you could just see it. You could just see her, the burdens begin to just ebb away. And from that place, from a less busy mind, an unburdened person, her view, her perspective, her way of thinking is going to be infinitely different. So I'll ask you, do you fake it? Are you living in an illusion? Are you wearing a mask? Are you just trying to portray this wonderfulness? And what would it mean for you to actually create and frame or create a pathway to actually living the life that you do want? What would that do for you? I'd love to know. Now, I've got a few things that are